Hey there, it is Kevin Henry, the Director of Marketing for Fortune Management. And when I think marketing, I think about my friend and colleague, Fred Joyal. Fred, how are you today, my friend?
Oh, I am fantastic. It's been a couple weeks since Dentsply Sirona World, which was a fantastic event. It was really like the world went back to almost normal for a while. But to see so many good friends there and to see the industry so lively was really exciting. So
It was, and I'm glad I got to hang out with you. I enjoy that as always. And, I love seeing people come to the booth to meet you, to find your book. And since then, you've launched your new book, which is so awesome. Superbold, from underconfident to charismatic in 90 days. And congratulations on the launch, man.
thank you. This has been a labor of love for some time. It's been a project I've been working on, and COVID allowed me to really finish writing it and get it published out there. And it's in some ways I'm moving beyond just dental marketing to a more of a personal growth book for anyone to use, because anyone who wants to be more confident, more bold in their life, which is most people, can benefit from the exercises and the chapters in this book. So
Yeah, and that was one thing that drew me in whenever we were talking about this in Las Vegas, was that you wrote this for the general public. And was it something that you saw before COVID, even, that we all need a little boost of confidence, or what kind of drew you to write this?
well, certainly there's a personal part of it, which is I grew up as a very shy person, and I saw bold people in action, and I couldn't figure out how they were doing it. Why were they that way? And why was I so hesitant and so underconfident in so many situations? And it made me upset with myself and made me angry sometimes. And I missed a lot of things. And I finally said, I got to fix this. And I just worked on it and worked on it. And it took a long, long time. But then I started to teach it in this sort of thinking to young people, high school kids, and basically the concept that boldness is a superpower, right? That this is, you move through the world in a different way when you have built your boldness so that you're at every situation you have a certain degree of comfort. You may be in an uncomfortable or a challenging and new situation, but you've got this core that allows you to be yourself and go for your dreams and go for that meeting that you want to have, or go for that sale, or whatever. Say what's on your mind, and all of those things to me fall into the category of boldness, because there's confidence and then there's boldness. Boldness is confidence in action. It means you're not just confident, you're doing stuff. You're chasing your dreams.
Well, and while this wasn't written per se for the dental crowd, I know you and I have talked, and you believe that there's a strong dental correlation with this as well, right?
Well, certainly when you think about the dentist personality, it's more of the artist engineer. If you were looking at the disc profile, they are not, not high S's, as they would say. But what most people don't think is that you can learn to be more confident. They think, this is who I am. I am this bold or this shy. I'm an introvert. It's like, I'm an introvert too, except there are plenty of times when I choose not to be. It's a choice. I get a lot done being an introvert, but then I'll wade into a room and meet 20 people and have a really in-depth conversation with 2 or 3 of them and come away with a real friendship at the end of it. Or I'll see somebody I really want to meet, whether it's an actor or whatever, and I'll walk up and have a normal conversation with them. And so when you start to think about what builds a practice, okay, let's get super pragmatic and apply it to a dental practice. What's the number one way that you would attract patients?
I'm guessing advertising, get your name out there, kind of being that number one dentist maybe in the area, really pushing that
right
out.
But it's really, if word of mouth isn't your number one source of new patients, you're not creating a remarkable patient experience, right?
Okay.
So how do you get word of mouth patients? You gotta ask. You gotta let people know you're seeing new patients. You gotta ask them to recommend you. You gotta ask them to review you. All of these things, dentists and a lot of team members get really uncomfortable doing,
True.
except for the really successful practices who do it all the time. Could you do a video for us? Would you post on Facebook for us? Can we take a picture with you? Would you recommend us? You know, we love taking care of you. Would you recommend us to, you know, all your people at work and stuff like that? We love taking care of people like you. All the stuff I've taught in my books, but it takes a certain amount of boldness to put them in action. So if you understand how to to bring that out in yourself, then you're going to build word of mouth, which are the strongest patients, the ones who accept the most treatment, and the number one source of new patients. So it being a more confident dentist, and then it's, you know, let's go to part two. How confident are you in case presentation?
There you go. Yep.
So if you're hesitant to present anything over $4,000 or $5,000, there's plenty of your patients, probably a third of your patients need $8,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 worth of work, maybe 40 or 50. But if you don't have the confidence and to boldly say what you really need to do, since you've been complaining about your dentures for 30 years to me, is implants. You've got the money. I know you do. Your kids are out of college. Your house is paid for. It's time to do this. And to be able to comfortably say that, knowing it's the right thing for the patient. And then they just go, oh, yeah, I think I can afford that, because you presented it. You will do more cases. You know, it's the old Gretzky things. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. And so sure, there's going to be people who go like, wow, that's more money than I was thinking of spending. You say, I understand that. But how else could you spend this money better? You tell me. When you're confident, you have a different conversation because you believe in what you're doing, and they can tell.
And you know, and I love the fact that you admitted you're a little bit of an introvert, because I think so many of us who know you would have never pictured you that way. So does it take just kind of getting past those own hurdles in your mind about putting yourself out there and asking for things? Is that one of the biggest steps to becoming super bold in your mind?
Well, what I've built into the book is what I call the PRIDE method, which is a 5-step process. PRIDE being an acronym: preparation, relaxing, insight, dosage, and everyday action. So it's utilizing those steps and doing really simple exercises to build up your boldness muscle. From wherever you are, you could be painfully shy. Like you can't, if you walk into a room, you're not going to meet anybody. You're going to go home and know nobody else's name. Or you could be the guy who meets a lot of people, but he can never close the sale. Or when it comes down to something really important, like he finally meets somebody he really wants to meet, he sees the woman of his dreams, he's afraid to talk to her. Or a parent dies or a good friend dies, and you end up not giving a eulogy because you're like, I don't like to speak in public. And you get one chance at that, to honor a parent and say what that person meant to you. And it goes away. It goes away in instance when they say, would anybody like to say anything? You know, to be that, to me, that's it's not just being bold all the time. It's when it matters, like in those situations where your life could pivot in another direction, or you're never going to get another chance to do this. So it's, yeah, so you could be introverted a good part of the time, but you want to be able to turn it off. Like I said, my instinct is still to be an introvert, except I decide not to be. I choose not to be, and I can do it because I've practiced enough. And so the just to give you the PRIDE steps in a little more detail: preparation. If you have to meet somebody, you're going to do something, prepare what you say. We don't have any training in preparing for social events. It's like we think we should just be able to do it, which is ridiculous, right? It's like, why wouldn't you want to prepare for that sort of stuff? Prepare what you're going to say, you know, and and prepare even your physiology, your relaxed face. What does that look like? Your resting face, as they call it.
Mhm.
And then relax. Now, relaxing, people say, oh, how am I going to relax? Well, it actually turns out to be really easy to do certain types of breathing exercises, which I talk in the book, and then adjusting your physiology. Because when you're not relaxed, you do stuff. You stop breathing, you hunch your shoulders, you tense, you do your posture changes, and all you have to do is let it go, shake it up. You know, we talk about, as speakers, we talk about all the time. Sometimes we're backstage going like this, right? We're just
Sure.
because we want to go out there energized. We don't want to be tense at all. We want to just hit the stage with all of our energy and dynamism to give the best part of ourselves. So preparation, relaxing, and then insight. What bold people know, one of the primary insights is 99% of the time, nothing bad happens. Nothing bad happens unless you decide to label it that way. You could say, oh, I'm gonna get embarrassed. People are gonna laugh at me. Well, what's wrong with people laughing at you? You know, you could spill wine on yourself and in a restaurant, and you could be humiliated about it and run off to the bathroom, or you could just go, yep, this is why my dry cleaner loves me, right? And
Yeah.
everybody relaxes, and you got a big wine stain on you the rest of the meal. So what? It's a choice to feel bad or to make it bad. So bold people, they just press on because they have these insights. And I talk about insights like that in the book.
I like
Then
that.
dosage is the D, PRID. Dosage is the level of intensity of the experience. If you say to me, Kevin, look, I when I walk into a party, I don't know how to meet anybody. I'm like, so you don't go to a party and try to meet everybody. That's too much dosage. You go into the party and say, I'm gonna have one interesting conversation. I'm gonna say hello to 3 people. I'm gonna introduce myself to 4 people.
Like
You
that.
control the intensity of the experience and you build a muscle, just like you would do in the gym, right? If you were starting bench pressing, you wouldn't start with 300 pounds,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so you're building your ability to move out into your discomfort zone little by little by little. And then the last step, which is really key in really developing anything, is everyday action. Work on something every day, even if it's for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. Do a boldness exercise. Say, I'm going to meet somebody. I'm going to smile at somebody. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. And it changes your neuroscience. I actually talk a lot about the neuroscience of how this changes for you as you go through life and start to do these exercises. You widen the neural pathways to behave more boldly and more confidently. So that's the pride method that is applied in the book.
And I know there's so much to dive into in the book, and obviously we don't want to give everything away, but I'm so glad you give us a little insight into this because I think the topic is fascinating, especially as we emerge out of this pandemic, as we get back to, trade shows and everything else, like you were mentioning. It's good to have that confidence and that super boldness even within us.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. Super bold just means your ability to tap into your boldness is whenever you want to. You're as confident as you want to be whenever you want to be or need to be, because there will be times, and there may be 3 times in your whole life, or that you need to summon that level of boldness. What the moment's going to slip away, and it could be just changing jobs, asking for a promotion, going after a big case, going into a clinical training that you've always been scared of, right? And I know a bunch of dentists is like, I don't ever want to do implants. It frightens me to do it. And you just say, okay, well, how could you develop the boldness to do that, even though it scares you? Because your patients kind of need you to be able to do that, and there's technology that is going to make you to be able to do it better. But you have to decide that you're willing to step into the discomfort and the potential bits of failure that are going to come along the way. So
well, here's a super bold question I'm going to ask you. How's the best way for somebody to find this book?
it is on Amazon, and it's really easy to find. You search Superbold, B-O-L-D. And some people go, "You wrote a book about the Super Bowl?" It's like, no, there's an LD at the end. So yeah, you either search my name, and my books will all come up, and you'll see Superbold there. It's on Audible as well, and it's me reading it. It's on Kindle, and it's on hardcover. So whatever way you absorb books, that it is there for you on Amazon. So
very cool. Well, Fred, congratulations on the launch. I'm excited to read it. I'm going to be super bold this weekend and actually make time to do that. So I'm looking forward to it, my friend. Thanks so much.
Terrific. Thank you, Kevin. Great talking to you.
You too.